Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name's Nastasia, and apparently I will be your train conductor today. Today, I thought to myself, what's the most controversial thing I could talk about? And this one kind of won for the moment. So we're talking about feminism. And I know if there's guys out there watching, you're probably thinking, like, you probably already are tensing up because it can be such a very, I don't know, like, a subject that is very tricky to talk about. And so I'm talking about feminism from a Christian point of view, how I feel about it, how I feel like it looks right now in the world, and my thoughts on it. So before I get into it, if you end up liking this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a video every time I post, and also hit the bell wherever the heck it is, because we do that now. Dingy ding, hit the bell. I don't really know what it does, but we're supposed to do it. So originally, feminism was created in the early kind of 1900s. I mean, I think it's always kind of been around in different cultures at different times, but especially for America in like the early 1900s, especially with the whole like women's suffrage movement. And that's how kind of it started. It was supposed to be a very good thing. It was supposed to be a very good thing for women in America, and it was supposed to make it kind of more of an even playing field for deciding. It was very government based, honestly. It was very much had to do with politics of women representing as much of the population as men, in the sense that they could vote as well to kind of decide who represented them in, you know, Congress and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it was supposed to start. Now, I feel like it has, in my opinion, don't come for me. In my opinion, I feel like feminism has morphed into something that I hate, personally, as a Christian woman, because, honestly, I think it makes us look way worse as women. And it takes away everything that makes us feminine and beautiful and replaces it with anger and hatred and competition, but not a good kind of competition. So nowadays, I feel like feminism has become this women versus men debacle, which is never what it was supposed to be. It was just supposed to be women having kind of the same rights as men. But now, even though a lot of feminists will claim, and if you're a feminist, I'm not coming for you, I'm just saying the movement in general, I think, has gotten warped. Now it's become this process of men being the enemy towards women, and that if you hated men, basically you're a feminist, and if you respected men, you're basically against feminism, it feels like. Again, this isn't all feminism, but I feel like nowadays it's a lot of what the media portrays. This is what it looks like, and I hate it. If men were the enemy, God wouldn't have created men. We are not women are not the enemy, men are not the enemy. Sin is the enemy, and I think Satan is using this a lot to put us against each other, which is, like, it sucks, because that's exactly what he wants. That's exactly what Satan wants. He wants us to be against each other. He wants us to hate men. He wants us to be afraid of men. And then it turns men into being like, well, fine, you know? And I think a big problem, let's take this example. When women do not allow a man to open the door for them, when they're just trying to be kind, it makes me so mad. Like, when women, like, if a man opens a door for you, you should say nothing other than thank you, okay? Like, you don't have to say, excuse me, I can open my own door. Or, excuse me, you think you are better than me because you can open a door for me? No, I'll open it. Like, that is not necessary, because you know what happens? Why do you think chivalry seems dead nowadays? Why do you think it's hard to find a gentleman? Why do you think it's hard to find a man in your life that respects you and pursues you? Because they have been pounded down with this idea that if they do anything for a woman nowadays, it means that they don't think women are strong enough or capable to do it. That is not true. Like, yes, there are bad men in the world. Yes, there are bad women in the world. Like, it's not a gender-specific problem. It is a sin problem. So if you think a man doing something nice for you means you are lesser, it doesn't. Now, it does happen where men will be manipulative. I shouldn't even say men. Some particular men, like a man, might be a manipulative person and do things for you to try to guilt you into something. Like, you see all the things I do for you, or make you feel bad for the things they do. Okay, now, that doesn't mean it's against men, like that you have to be against men. That means you need to walk away from that man. because he sucks, okay? So bonus tip there. The reason chivalry seems dead, the reason it feels like men aren't pursuing women the same way they used to, that they're not making an effort, that they're not this or that, is because wouldn't you be scared too? Like, everything in the media nowadays is calling men evil, is calling men, you know, that they are just always after one thing, that they're just trying to get you in bed, that this and this and this. So obviously men, especially the good ones, are going to be like, I'm not going to even try to do anything because I don't want it to be perceived as a different thing. I'll just sit here and let whatever happens happens. That's why so many men nowadays are apathetic. That's why so many are very passive, because honestly I think they're scared. And that's not an excuse, because, you know, there are still good men in the world that will be like, well, heck no, like, no, I'm not going to do anything bad to you, but I'm also going to pursue you, I'm going to be kind to you, and I'm going to be a gentleman to you. And so, like, if you're a man watching this, please don't let the warped feminism movement, and what it should be but isn't anymore, please don't let it talk you out of being the man God calls you to be. But for women, we can fight for being seen as beautiful and loving and strong and capable and, you know, leaders in the business world sometimes, and, like, you know, different things like that without having to hate men. You can be a CEO of a company and still be supportive of every man you are in contact with. You can be a stay-at-home mom and work your tail off as much as a man does. And that doesn't mean the man is lesser than you, and that doesn't mean you are lesser than them. It just means that you guys do different things. Like, but at the same time, I read an article about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, that was talking about, it was a girl who, she's a Christian, and she was writing why she's not a feminist. Okay. So I was like, oh, intrigued. Okay, read it. And it's really sad to me because I think she's had a very unfortunate upbringing of what it means to be a woman. And she was kind of saying that God does not see men and women as equal, and he prefers men more, because if he would have preferred women more, he would have made women first. That's not true. If that is a lie that is in your head right now, I'm here to rebuke that and tell you it's not true. God loves men and women equally, but we have different strengths, different weaknesses, different abilities, and are capable of doing different things. Neither one better or worse. Like, does it make us better that we can give birth and give life to a human, but men cannot? No, that doesn't make us better. Does it make men better that they are called to be the protectors and called to protect their wives and be leaders, lead their families, like, spiritually? No, it doesn't make them better or worse than us. It just makes them different. We have different roles. If we all had the same role, then why would God create both of us? He wouldn't have, you know? If we were an afterthought, like, we wouldn't be made. By the way, like, God doesn't have afterthoughts. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't think, oh, well, I should have done that. I'll just do it now, I guess. No, he's perfect. So, women, you are not an afterthought, and men, you are not the enemy. And I'm so sorry for anybody who has been hurt by this world. Women out there who have been hurt by men, maybe. Whether you've been abused or, you know, sexually taken advantage of, or just felt belittled, or maybe nothing has technically happened to you, but this lie in your head is that you are not equal and you have to fight, and you have to fight against men to be equal. I'm so sorry that that has happened in your life. I've been there, and honestly, I would say I'm probably more cautious around men than the average woman. And I have to daily surrender that to God, because men are not the enemy, and men are not against me. Sin is. And to men, I am so sorry that the world keeps telling you that all you want is sex, that all you want is a girl to take advantage of, that all you want is, you know, to drink and get laid and not care about anything else. Because that sucks to hear. I would hate to hear that. This is also for me to tell you guys that I do not consider myself a modern day feminist. I consider myself a biblical times, in the eyes of God, feminist. And what I mean by that is Jesus treated men and women the same way. He loved them all. He actually taught women, which back then it was completely illegal, one, for a woman to learn, and two, for a man to teach her, especially when it came to anything about God. So Jesus doing that was one of the most radical things he could have done, and he did it because he loves women. And then in the same hand, he also had disciples who were all men. Does that mean he loves men more than women? No. Does the fact that he taught women when it was completely illegal mean he loves women more than men? No. It's just different. It's just different. Honestly, I hate the term feminism. I actually hate it because the term itself makes it seem like you have to choose either men or women to support. And that is not what God calls us to do. Like, God calls us to love each other. We are brothers and sisters in Christ. You do not need to be a feminism to support women, and you do not need to be against feminism to support men. You can just be someone who loves Jesus and loves his creation. So, do I consider myself a feminist? I do not. But I'm not coming at you feminists at all. I just think it's become so, I don't know, distorted from what it should be. Yeah, so that's kind of my rant of the day, but I want you guys to know that I do believe that men and women were created with equal love in the eyes of God, but we don't have we have different abilities, you know? Like, how can you compare apples and oranges and if one is better than the other or if they're equal? They're not, they're just different. They're just different. Like, they're equal in the eyes of God, like men and women are, but we're not the same, and thank God we're not, because Lord, if I lived in a world full of only women, I would lose my mind. So, I love you guys so much. Please leave your comments down below. Don't come for me, okay? This is just a video on the internet. You don't need to get yourself all worked up if you don't agree with me. Just leave the video, unsubscribe or something. I don't care, okay? But I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time.